Hey guys, this is the first video for this week, and there's only two. This week you're going to be looking at solving triangles, and so these triangles do not have to be right triangles, and there are only two different formulas we need to learn. You don't have to know the formulas; you just have to know how to use them. The first one is called the law of sines, and then the next video is for the law of cosines. So the law of sines is written at the top of the notes, and it's written two different ways. It's written that way because depending on what resource you're looking at, if you're using Delta Math, if you're looking at IXL, I've seen it used both ways. It doesn't matter. You just have to be consistent. So if I start off with the sine of A on top, then I have to also put the sine of B and the sine of C on top of the fractions. Or if I start out with just lowercase a on the top, then I need to make sure that lowercase b and lowercase c are also on the top of their ratios. So kind of just a background of what these are even talking about. Triangles have three sides, right? They have three angles. The lowercase letters in these formulas, they represent the sides of the triangle. So A, B, and C, lowercase, are representing those three sides. The uppercase or the capital letters are representing the three angles. Remember, all the angles A, B, and C should add up to be 180 degrees. And then it also tells you, and it draws a picture there, that angle A is always opposite side A. So angle A or capital A is always across from the lowercase a. Angle B, capital B, it's always opposite or across from side B. Same thing, angle C is always across or opposite from side C. All right, so at the beginning of working on these, it's going to be telling you when to use law of sines and when to use law of cosines just from the assignment, but you can also tell them when you can use the law of sines by what you know. So if you know one angle and the side opposite it, or basically if you know one full ratio, like if I know A, capital letter and lowercase, then I can fill in sine A over A. Then I can use the law of sines. If I don't know a complete ratio, if I don't know one angle and the side across from it, then I cannot use the law of sines. I'll have to use the law of cosines, which is the next video. Okay, so we are going to do these two examples here because there's really only two different things that can happen when you're using the law of sines. So the first one, it tells me we're solving for side B, and it tells me side A, and then it tells me two angles. So first thing you want to do is always just draw a triangle. And then you label the triangle however you want. All right, there you go. So you label the triangle however you want as far as like where you want A, where you want B, where you want C to be. And after you do that, let's fill in what we know. So we know lowercase a, which is side A, so it's the side here across from angle A, is 4.5 feet. We know angle B is 60 degrees, and we know angle C is 10 degrees. And we are solving for side B. So we have to know an angle and the side across from it. And right now we don't know that. The only side we know is A, and we don't have anything written for angle A. But remember, all the angles of a triangle have to add up to 180 degrees. So if we know 60 plus 10, we know 70 degrees. So there's 110 degrees left in the triangle for angle A. Right, so now we do know an angle and the side opposite it. So I usually start off with sine of A on top when I solve these. Whichever ratio you know, start with that one. So I know sine of angle A over side A. Okay. And then you're only going to use one more ratio. You're not going to fill in all three of them every time. And we're solving for side B, so you want to use the ratio that has side B in it. So that would be sine of angle B, which is 60, over little b. Okay. And then you're just going to cross multiply. 4.5 times the sine of 60 degrees equals b times the sine of 110. And then to get b by itself, divide by sine of 110. Okay. And then you can just type that on the calculator and use alpha y equals. Okay. Make sure that if you don't have your own calculator at home, then there is a link on the assignment page for this week that you can put one on your Chromebook for free. I think it's free through August. And make sure whether you're using your own calculator or using the one you put on your Chromebook, that you go ahead and just change the mode to degrees, right? So hit mode, make sure you're in degree mode before you start typing all this in. All right, and then I'm gonna do alpha y equals, to get the fraction to come up, and do 4.5 sine of 60 on the top and sine of 110 on the bottom. Okay, and that 4.14, that is side B. Okay. Now you could plug in side B here, and then we could solve for side C. They just didn't ask me to. They only wanted to know side B. So I answered their question. All right. So let's look at the second problem. So I'm going to go ahead and draw another triangle. That was number 1. Label it ABC and fill in what we know, which this time is angle A, side B, side A. And we are solving this time for capital B, which is angle B. So this time I do see that I know angle A and side A. So that's the one I'm going to start by setting up. Sine of A over A. I don't know capital A, or sorry, I don't know capital B. So I'm leaving this as sine B because I don't know what capital B is. But I know that side B, or lowercase b, is 7. Okay, so we do cross multiply again. 7 times the sine of 50 equals 8 times the sine of angle B, and divide by 8. Okay, so 7 sine of 50 divided by 8. And you get a very small decimal. And it doesn't seem like, that small decimal should be the answer for an angle. And it's not. What you found is that 0.67 whatever is the sine of angle B. So anytime you're solving for an angle, you have to do the inverse, or in your calculator, you have to do second sine. So what you're really doing is you're finding the inverse sine of 0.67. In your calculator, that means you hit second sine. Second sine. And then I just like to go up, just arrow up and hit enter and use the entire decimal that was there. So if I do inverse sine of that decimal, I get about 42 degrees. A lot of times for angles, they will round to the nearest whole number. So those are the only two things that can happen using the law of sines. You're either solving for a side or solving for an angle. Make sure you also look at the law of cosines video, because law of sines will not always work. That's why we have both of them. There's not a law of tangents, just a law of sines and law of cosines. Also make sure you look at the times for tutoring this week. That I'll be on Zoom, and then if I need to add another one, then we'll just kind of see how it goes. And then if you need help with your assignments or anything, email me, or again, just get on Zoom during those tutoring hours. All right. Bye, guys.